person to blame. Nicholas Emerging.
All the butter in biscuits.
Man, I just can't believe what's happening.
Time to get fucking wild.
Firing on multiple cylinders right now. Fantasy Nevis. Rap podcast. Rap podcast.
Killer mermaid.
Real well.
Really dope walk.
Holy speed.
It's a good time. Gonna be a good one.
So here we are for another week on the podcast.
Another
Are
week.
we recording, by the way?
I
don't
just
know.
I just started. I actually was recording earlier in that little other conversation, but it got a little too weird, so I stopped it.
What are you
Which
talking
one?
about?
the B
Brian-
Grove 03.
Yeah, that is kind of a weird conversation.
That somehow
I-
ended with some account of like weightlifting twin brothers. Like it just got a little too out there.
got a little all over the place. Be like, okay, you guys, where are we talking about? Let's try to
Hey,
rein.
That was Brian cruising the internet with us.
Yeah,
Hey, that's
exactly. Just
all I
going
usually
through
do.
Brian's search history. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary. You don't want to do that.
My search history? Oh man, what do you
Takes
guys
you to the dark web.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never been onto the dark web. I've always wanted to get there. I mean, does anybody know what Tor is? Anybody? Besides Nick, does anybody know what Tor is?
I don't.
I know what torrents are.
Yeah.
Okay, but the program TOR, that doesn't
It
mean
sounds
anything.
familiar. Is that like Silk Road, like that whole thing?
That it was one of the ways. So Silk Road was a dark web. It was one of those deep web websites. And strictly what they dealt with, all like the drug dealing online. You can hire hitman and shit like that online, like all real shady shit. But I think one of the ways you had to get there, or to a lot of these places, you had to use. God, somebody else would know more about this. It's like Tor is like
that's okay. We can all Google it on our own time.
Everybody,
I'm not getting that in my
whip out
search history.
Everybody whip out your computer. Everybody type in Tor. Everybody start becoming a hacking fucking guru and then get arrested by the FBI or something.
Well, yeah.
About to get
In-
tore up
in
by
the
this
public
podcast.
library public library in San Francisco.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that documentary, Joey?
No, I read a huge article about it though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a
crazy.
whole documentary all about that exact thing that happened, how the FBI shut down that whole thing.
It's
and
crazy shit, man.
It was crazy shit. Like Keanu Reeves was narrating the entire thing.
Oh well, I gotta watch it now.
Dude, it was cool actually. Dude, my dad and I didn't know we were starting. We started at the beginning. We're like, we'll just watch this for like 5 minutes. Ended up going through the entire hour.
Is that John Wick?
Yeah. Did he do like the Bill and Ted? Was he like, so yeah, there was this guy, and he was
Yeah.
like,
The FBI was, they were doing
he's
some
totally
shady
like this
shit.
dude.
I get like the whoa, the FBI,
Yeah.
whoa. That's a
Yeah.
horrible Keanu Reeves impression. Here we go, 6 minutes on into the podcast, and we're doing all Keanu Reeves impressions.
Yeah.
Who can do the best?
I was just gonna let that go on as long as it could.
I'm probably.
Keanu Reeves is my spirit animal.
I do believe it.
Why don't we have that? Why don't you make that your name, Joey? I mean, I have to admit, like you were definitely the one reason I couldn't do a Game of Thrones name this year, because that one was
Yeah.
just that was too good. That was way too clever.
I know. Maybe I'll have to change my team name. Been having some rough weeks here.
Sean, would you say the changing of your team name helped you turn things around?
I think I'm 1-2 since I did that, so maybe.
Not really.
I don't know. I mean, I was already on a losing streak before that, so I mean, hey, at least I won last week.
That's a good point. No, and maybe that's a nice little way to segue into what had happened. So we do have Joey with us this week. Super excited. The second time, right, Joe? You were on last year, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that podcast kind of got screwed up somehow, technically.
Was that the one where Brian's voice was like super deep or something, or was that a
sounded like
was
he
that
took
a
a
different
bunch
one?
of testosterone or something? Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember something about my audio being.
Or
super
no, I think it was something else that got screwed up, Sean. And like
Did we
the
not get
upload
to
or
air
something
it,
like
or
that.
did we air it?
I think we did, but it was like kind of late, like on Sunday or something, so no one
All
probably
right.
really
Well,
listened
that's
to it.
not going to happen this time. So
Not this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that's good.
and Spade.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot since last year. A lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get my shit started. Do we want to get this shit started?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, shit. I mean, God, we're almost getting to the very end of the regular season here. I mean, this is
Can't believe it. It's
week,
last
week
3
11
weeks.
out of 13. Yeah, 3 weeks left. I think everybody at this point is still very much in the playoff picture. I mean, Phil's down at the bottom, but I think everyone's still got plenty of chance here.
Well, if let's say John and Nick, or sorry, not John. Let's say Misha and Nick end up losing out. They finish at 7-6.
Yeah, they'd be 7-6 if they lost out. Yeah.
So Phil has to win out in order to.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, no, Phil's just trying to get to 6th place, basically.
I guess that's true. Yeah. We're not talking about him getting all the way up.
Yeah. It's hard to tell with the matchups, like who plays who.
Right. Like some people will be forced to win if 2 people are in the same matchup.
Right. Well, maybe let's really quickly just go down the standings really quick. We got Misha now with the with the points forward. We got him in first place.
This is the first week that I think Misha finally took Nick over for like official first place, right?
Well, I mean, yes. So they're both technically tied with the same record, but
Nick's name was always in that number 1 slot because of the points.
He pretty much has been almost all year. Yeah, I would say so.
Well, I was ahead of him, I think, for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you were up there.
Oh, yeah, true.
But that's since changed.
It seems like such a long time ago.
Not too long ago. I mean, these weeks are flying on by. Like, I cannot believe. At one point in time, we all thought Nick was going to be going on a crazy nosedive, and he's only lost 1 game. He just won this last week, and so he's still on up there, even with this patchwork team of his.
Yeah, and he's still in last place in points against, so he's certainly getting some help.
That's definitely true. The beginning of his season probably certainly helped on that, actually. Really quickly, let me realize that my door is not shut. Let me shut this really quick.
Yeah, the difference between his points against and Jimmy's is 300.
Yeah, that's very significant.
It is absolutely. It's going to give him a lot of space. But even still, I mean, if it comes down, if Nick ends up going on, getting a couple losses, I mean, it's not too bad. We've got so just going down a little bit. Besides the 7-3s, I just got that win. Luckily enough, last week.
You're on a little 2-game win streak here.
Still tilting from that.
Yeah, that was a big matchup right there. That you guys had some pretty high scoring teams.
It was one of the crazier weeks, I think, that we've seen as far as the scoring is concerned for the whiteouts, especially. Like, everybody seemed to wake up today. Shit, Joey, I think you had between your running backs, you had like fucking 50 points or something like that. Oh, man.
Oh, man, yeah. DeMarco finally decided to wake up and got fucking 3 touchdowns.
Jeez. Yeah. All right. Now we're getting. I feel.
Yeah, we would get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to it. So we got me sitting at 6-4. Joey, with last week we have you right next to me at 5-4-1. What do you think about that tie? Actually, I've been wanting to ask either you or Phil about that tie.
I fucking hate ties. I think next year, whoever is league manager, we need to make sure to do the fractional points thing. There's a way. My coworker told me there's a way to do it on ESPN. You just have to it takes a little bit more time, but you can definitely do it because he's in a ESPN league with fractional points. So you just need to set it up.
I certainly would not be against that. I've been in like Yahoo leagues before that do it all by the decimal scoring, and especially with PPR, I think it works perfectly.
It's nice because if you get like 19 yards, that's 1.9 points rather than just 1 point.
1 point, exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so you're gonna get higher scores. You're gonna have it's gonna be a lot more fun. So I mean, hey, that's something I'm totally okay with putting on out
Look
there.
Into that.
Yeah, I'd agree too. It's nice to have that definitive dude, yeah, like if you look up and down my team, like between all these guys that got 19 yards, that's like that could be like 40 yards between 4 people. Like you should win technically if you
an extra 4 points or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows who would have won with my team or Phil's team with the fractional points? But either way, it wouldn't be a tie. So
it wouldn't be a tie, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, it is weird to have a tie.
Yeah.
say, but well, all right, yeah, I think that's definitely something we could look into next year. And then we got John underneath you, Joey, at 5-5, at 500.
That's where I like him.
Yeah, exactly. Down in the
Power bottom.
Down, well, sort of in the middle, I guess. Not a bottom feeders per se, but I don't even know what you call the fish that are somewhere in the middle.
I don't know.
He's underneath me.
The middle child. The middle child.
Yeah, John's a good middle child. Oh, man.
Jan Brady.
Jan Brady.
Oh man, yeah.
That is that John. If I ever were to picture somebody, it would be Jan Brady.
He should change his team name to Jan Brady.
I am Jan Brady. What is he?
And then there's Sean.
Zeke. Yeah, that's right. We don't have Zeke no more, so he may need to change his name.
That's true.
And then you're right. We got this clusterfuck down at the bottom with Sean, Derek, Jimmy, and Chris all tied at 4 and 6.
Yeah. So it's
and the
definitely
points are pretty close too, huh?
Where are the points
between
actually?
me and
Derek?
Sean's
got a lot more.
Yeah, it's like 28 points or something like that of a difference. So I mean, that can certainly change in 1 week. You know, with people getting in 140, 150, and then you see other teams in like the 80s. Sometimes there can be some big swings, but. Yeah, it's going to be going to come down to certainly winning games, but I think scoring a lot of points is going to really be the make or break for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we got Phil at the 3-6-1 with that the other person with a tie. So
I just noticed, Sean, me and you have the same exact amount of points on the dot. That's weird.
Yeah, we do. 1136.5. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I have to say, like, it is really close between points, basically for everybody except like kind of the bottom few. But otherwise, it's like some teams are separated by like 4 points, some are separated by like 20. I mean, it's really close in points.
I mean, between you and Nick, it's only like 30 something points, right? So
and Nick and John are also tied. They both have 1140.
Yeah, they both have 1140. That's crazy.
Oh, no, less than that. I was looking at Misha. Between you and Misha, Sean, it's only like 30 points, which is crazy. Or me and Misha, same thing.
Exactly.
And he's the highest scoring person, right?
I think, by a few,
by 5 points. So it's really going to, even with wins and losses, it's going to even come down to a lot of the points are going to be a huge factor in placement. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty wild over the next 3 weeks.
I would always say, and with this league, it's always going to be wild. But who knows? Shit, I'm just sitting on this bowl, not doing anything. So you guys keep on your discussion. I'm gonna catch up.
Yeah, go to work.
I mean, we got a lot of the big streaks that people were on last week kind of ended this week. Like I was on a 4-game losing streak. Chris was on a 5-game winning streak, and we finally busted out of those. I think John Glasgow was on a pretty hefty winning streak, and he finally lost too. The only person that's really heavily streaking is Phil on a 3-game losing streak now.
Dang.
But I would say Glasgow's team finally came back down to earth after all the shakeups in his lineup.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, losing Zeke, I mean, that's like losing, a top 3 draft pick essentially. So
yeah, and Zeke had been really good, and then he had Mike Evans was suspended last week too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
So all right.
So that's two like of his best players basically gone for the week. Well, Zeke's coming back.
Yeah,
right?
He's not coming back at earliest until what is it, like the day before Christmas, which would be the fantasy championships.
Okay. So, yeah.
Would be interesting.
A ways away.
Yeah, exactly. A lot is going to happen between now and then. And we're still, I think this is the last week of bye weeks for all the NFL teams. And so there's definitely been a lot of moving and shaking, dropping a lot of people on waivers. It was pretty active this week. Joey, I saw you picked up a couple people. You went back to your fucking Harrison Butker. Like, you just
dude, I know.
No,
he's good luck for me.
It's the best name ever.
I was like, I gotta get Butker.
Gotta get Butker.
Yeah, he's been fucking awesome up until the last week before the bye. He only had 5 points, but still.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, that's okay. That was kind of a bad game for the Chiefs' offense as a whole. So.
Yeah, true. And then.
Man, I did.
What's up?
Not think Oh, I was just looking at the activity. I did not think I was the first person on the board today. For some reason, I thought I was down the way, but I guess not.
You mean like for this week's waivers?
Well,
Oh yeah,
no, I
yeah.
know. I think I was. I actually think I moved up to. You know what? You're right. I did. I thought I was at 5, but I think I had moved up to 3. I totally forgot about
Well,
that.
I was number 2, I think, before or like into this weekend, and I actually used mine to pick up Greg Olson.
Right?
Derek dropped him.
Oh,
I was like, if I'm gonna use a waiver pick, like I think Greg Olson's a worthy pickup.
Yeah.
So that was you were number 2 overall, Sean?
Yeah, I was number 2 overall, and then I just saw Greg Olson there, and I was like, oh fuck, man, like I could easily snag this guy before somebody else does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be coming back. Is it end of this month?
Well, they have a bye week this week, but it could be
right.
next week.
Next week that he'd be ready to play.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, who knows for sure, but that's what they've been saying.
Well, they could use him since Benjamin's gone, and now they just got Funchess, and I think that other guy got pretty hurt on Monday
that
too.
Guy, I think he's like done for the season potentially.
Yeah. So.
And there was some quote from their coach, like Greg Olson's going to have like an even larger role. Like he wants to make that happen. I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good.
Damn it, that's going to hurt Funchess.
Well, too bad you're not going to make the playoffs, so you won't be able to use him.
I guess not, Joe.
Just kidding.
Well, Brian, you got Rex Burkhead. He was one of the guys that I had on my radar, but assumed he would get picked up.
Well, yeah, it was either going to be him or Danny Woodhead, but I think you have Danny Woodhead. Somebody else has Danny Woodhead.
Yeah, I have Danny Woodhead.
Sean does.
Yeah. And exactly. Once he goes back, and if Danny Woodhead can play at least a few games and be 100% healthy, he is a PPR little monster. Yeah. And does just so much work. So they're
saying there might be a chance he could play this week. I'm keeping my eye on it.
I think he's gonna play, but I would.
I probably wouldn't use him in that first week, but man, I can't wait. I hope he does well. I would love to use him.
I think it's absolutely. a wait and see type of week for him, and see how he gets through his first game, and then kind of go from there.
Totally.
Well, that's what I kind of. The only reason I needed to get a running back is just because Freeman is out with this concussion. I feel like I have running back like depth, like Kenyon Drake's been doing really, really well. So I'm thinking about maybe plugging him in for this week. But I just needed to have a little bit more because all I have is Abdullah besides Drake that I put on up. So I needed just another running back because I dropped Lynch however long ago, and now he's sitting with D-Rod. Yeah. But let's see, Joe, you picked up Marquise Lee. What do you feel about your wide receivers? Like,
I just picked him up. I got a lot of wide receivers, but Alan Hearns is out. He got pretty hurt, so we'll see what happens with Lee's usage. He's been getting a lot of targets over the last few games. But they're gonna have that other guy's the rookies coming in, Day Westbrook or something like that. I can't remember his name exactly. I know it's Day, but he was really good in college, and he's going to be playing, I think, as soon as this week. But over this week isn't really probably that great of a matchup for Marquise Lee. With Cleveland's got a pretty bad pass defense, but they actually, I saw that there's supposed to be like really bad weather there this weekend, like really high winds and probably some snow too, so it might not be.
That's going to be
the best.
Horrible for a wide receiver.
For the passing, bad for the passing game. But after that, he's got Arizona, who's been like a pretty good pass funnel, I believe, and then Indianapolis too in Week 13. So I mean, I don't know if I'll even end up starting him, but just kind of a stash for now. I didn't really have anyone else to pick up, so just figured why not.
Dude, for sure. There was a little bit of extra activity. Nick got Eckler.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about? I wanted to ask you. I really did want to ask you about that last week. What do you think about that, Sean?
I mean, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. The only I've heard a lot of kind of the experts just speculate on why he got so much work last week, and they were kind of thinking that maybe it's because the Chargers have had such a bad season and they're not really in any kind of a playoff race, And Gordon's kind of a guy that that's a guy you build your franchise around. And so maybe they're just trying to give him a little bit of a break just so they don't fucking destroy him, because last year he got such a hefty workload. And,
oh my God, yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I don't know. And then you see Eichler getting these touchdowns, and then they're fucking giving him the ball in a game where they were just trying to hold on, and then Eichler fumbles it, and that's what basically caused the Chargers to go into overtime and lose. So it was like a joke. So I'm hoping that fumble kind of cut into whatever they were thinking of. Let's give the ball to Eichler.
Yeah, I think they were kind of just playing the hot hand a little bit with him, and I think Gordon's been a little banged up too. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really think he has much standalone value, honestly, except in like maybe a deeper league. But
would be a good handcuff.
But yeah, he'd be a real high value handcuff if anything were to happen to Gordon, because it seems like he's got some juice and he's pretty fast, and seems like he's a pretty good runner and pass catcher overall. And they use the running backs Chargers use a running back pretty heavily. So
and if you can catch the ball from Phillip Rivers, like that's what Phillip Rivers would love to do all day, is just do those little dump offs. So somebody like Darren Sproles, Danny Woodhead, all of a sudden these backs become super fantasy relevant because they're getting so many fucking balls. Like how many goddamn catches did he get that one game? Like 10 or something like that. He had Eckler, the last week's game, he had like a ridiculous number of catches.
I think he had like 6 or something, but
okay.
I don't know. He had 2 touchdowns though.
Yeah, let me see more stats. 5 receptions for 77 and 2 touchdowns. Jesus.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be too worried, Sean, but
we'll see. This week we'll certainly be telling. If they keep using him, I will definitely be worried.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. And, oh, shit, I didn't even notice, dude. Joey, you dropped Tyrod. What the fuck is happening with that? I haven't really been following that situation.
So he got benched for that other guy I think he's pretty young. I can't remember his name. Peterson or something like that?
Something like that, yeah, you're right.
Peterman, or I don't really know too much about him, honestly. I think he's more of a prototypical, like a quarterback that would fit their offense better, so maybe they're trying to do that, because in the offense that they have, it's not really tailored to Taylor, being a more mobile type of guy. But I don't know. I kind of think that guy might end up struggling, and they'll end up putting Taylor back in at some point. But I don't know. That was a pretty bad loss that they had last week. So
right, dude. Yeah, they got pounded.
So you've got Kelvin Benjamin right now. He's on your bench. Is that just because you have better receivers, or just that you're kind of worried now with this new quarterback?
I think I have better matchups. Yeah, that guy's name is Nathan Peterman, by the way.
Yeah. Peterman, okay.
Is that guy?
From
yeah.
Seinfeld.
So yeah, exactly. I don't know, with Benjamin, I just kind of taken a little bit of a wait and see type of approach. I mean, he did get some catches with Peterman at the end of the game, but I don't know. I think I haven't looked at it too closely yet, but from what I remember, I kind of like some of the other matchups more. And I think the Chargers also have a pretty good cornerback that usually matches up against number ones. I can't remember his name.
If they still have Jason, I don't think they've gotten rid of Jason Verrett.
No, he's hurt though, but they got someone else on their team who's also performing pretty well.
I haven't even been following him this year. God,
Verrett, I believe, is injured. But they have another cornerback who has performed pretty well, and it's just like an East Coast team traveling west and a new quarterback playing.
And they got a great rush defense, the Chargers.
Yeah, well, they're 18 against wide receivers, so they've actually allowed quite a few touchdowns to wide receivers, but I don't know. I figure I'll just roll with some of these other guys this week, but we'll see. That could always change. I can always change my mind last minute.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still early on in the week, and I guess John, like just a few moments ago, just added Kenny Golladay.
That guy has been added and dropped so many times in the last few weeks in the league. I don't think anyone's using him.
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
Is there some news about this guy that, like, I don't know.
No, it's just I think there's like a lot of talent there. Let's see.
He was a high prospect coming out of college.
John threw him into his lineup already.
Well, the very first game, he had 4 for 69 and 2 touchdowns. So
he's been injured,
and then he got injured. So maybe the idea is like they're hoping that he's going to get more snaps and start kicking ass. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. Those other guys are kind of solidified with maybe he's going to be the number 3 kind of with Jones and Tate.
Oh, dude, yeah. And maybe
Tate's been crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's maybe this would be a perfect time to actually talk about some of these games this last week, because it was a crazy week. I thought this was one of the more high-scoring weeks that we've seen all year for the NFL. I don't know how you guys feel. Well, I mean, not just for our teams, but as far as like just it did just seem like it was, I don't know. I remember some people called it like a wacky week and things like that, or I saw like a few sports writers like refer to it that way. But it did just seem like a lot of the offenses were scoring like a lot of touchdowns. Like I feel there were a lot of touchdowns on all the teams, like on pretty much every team. Like if we were to start with, let's say the lowest scoring game that we had this week was Nick and Phil.
Yeah.
Okay. So taking a look at this, we had 103 to 79. Phil had Stafford, who had I thought Stafford, yeah, 3 touchdowns? Yeah, that sounds about right.
He had a nice game. That's what you would love to see from Stafford.
And just unfortunately for Phil, like just a lot of other people not having so much. I mean, Duke Johnson did decent. Isn't Crowell doing pretty well as well in Cleveland recently?
I think he's had a couple of good games.
Yeah, I think they've both been doing well because one of them's the running back and the other one's the receiver basically.
Right. But Jordan Howard, he's been sort of up and down this entire season. He has a great game and then a bad game, great game and a bad game.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought he would be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bears' offense doesn't seem like it's been very great at all this season. I haven't watched a single Bear game.
It's been very conservative. They've just been running the ball a lot. I mean, if you look at how many touches he has a
lot. Yeah, he has a lot.
Just like they're all stacked in the box because they're not really fearful of their passing game.
Yeah,
so that'll probably get better as Trubisky gets more experienced. But
that's right.
Yeah.
Jordy had a quiet game. Sanu. Sanu was on a nice little streak of playing nice and high above 9 points, but only comes away with 29.
Yeah, that was a big hit, Jordy. With that's like
he's dropped off so much.
I mean, that was his number 1 overall pick, and that's like really shitty losing Aaron Rodgers, and it makes your wide receiver 1, top 5 receiver end up being like a top 45 receiver, basically.
Dude, is that true? Let me bring that up really quick.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's what it'll probably end up being at the end of the year, Like,
well, I know you're right, Joe.
Yeah,
dude,
that was his 7 overall.
I just didn't think he was. You're right, number 7 overall. Shit. Funny enough, I don't remember if we even touched on that when we were talking about the Aaron Rodgers injury earlier, about how badly that would have affected another first-round pick in Jordy Evans.
I mean, yeah, that's arguably worse than losing Aaron Rodgers is what happens to Jordy Nelson, because at least with the quarterback position, there's a lot more people that you can plug in and still have like decent weeks, whereas like gaining the production of Jordy Nelson is like nearly impossible from the waiver wire.
Well, it's also, and then add to that, like it's tough because when you lose Rodgers, at least okay, he's done, I'm moving on. Somebody else is going to come in and get points. But with Jordy, you're like, well, fuck. I mean, I still feel like I need to play him. He was my overall first pick. Like, he's good.
Yeah.
And then you keep him in your lineup, and he just keeps getting 3.5 points. Like, that hurts even more.
I almost think he's like unstartable right now. But I mean, if you don't have anyone else, then that's what you got to do.
I guess, that is kind of what you have to do. But
I had a similar situation with DeAndre Hopkins last year, where he was my number 5 overall pick, and I just I was like, I gotta play him. I think I finally benched him in one of the last few weeks of the season. I just had enough.
Did he go off?
No, he never went off. Thankfully it wasn't that fucking brutal, but I mean, I do know the feeling of well, he's there, I don't want to bench him and then he has a big game. I'll feel like an idiot.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
It really sucks, man. Yeah, Phil is
he had some buys. I mean, he had Crabtree, LeGarrette Blount, and Alex Collins on buys last week.
What do you think's going to happen to LeGarrette Blount now with JJ?
I don't know, honestly. I'm not really sure if they're just like splitting time, or I'm not really sure what to think about that.
Yeah,
I actually thought he looked.
But...
I thought LeGarrette Blount looked really good in the few games that I did see him with the Eagles, and oh man, JJ, that first play. I remember I saw that first play, and you're just like, oh shit. Oh shit! This looks like a good. This looks like a good.
That's
match.
how Ajayi is.
Kinda,
He's like the boomer bust. Like he's always trying to find the big play, and that kind of has fucked him over this year. But if he does find it, he'll score huge points. But sometimes he's a little hard to contain from like a coach's perspective. Like, dude, just fucking like eat up some yards. Don't try to like hit it, go to the house every time.
They were not happy with him in Miami apparently, and he wasn't. He was like kind of a malcontent there too. But he's probably stoked now to be on like a potential Super Bowl contender.
Goes from the fucking Dolphins to like the number 1 ranked team right now.
Yeah, in the NFC for sure. So I don't know. I think they wouldn't have traded for him if they're not going to use him because I think they gave like a decent pick away for him. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to use him.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting, and I guess we'll be taking or keeping a close eye on that. I mean, because other than that, if Jordan Howard is playing the way he is, Duke Johnson, well, fuck, maybe let's see, maybe Cleveland's sort of getting it together because I thought Isaiah Crowell was putting up some good numbers too.
Yeah,
so
they both have been. They're one of the teams where you actually can use both of their running backs.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, maybe that might come to play. And dude, I actually kind of feel like I bit this one personally. The Jets, the Curse and Jenkins. I bit the fucking start Josh McCown. I bit that train. So, last week I fell for that.
Well, we've got to wait till you get to our matchup, man.
Well, I know we will, but it just the bad performance on the Jets. I mean, Safarian Jenkins had 9, so that's not too bad from the tight end. But you're expecting more from Curse. And
Curse just hasn't really. He had a few good games, but he's like touchdown dependent. Just doesn't get enough work.
Switch to that other guy, Anderson, right?
Yeah, Robbie Anderson. Guy. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Sean, you know about that. You got a nice little big piece of that.
Yeah, I'm fucking riding that one as far as I can.
And dude, I seriously feel Phil's biggest wild card is T.Y. Hilton. Like this guy could go off for 30 points just easily.
Yeah,
but he can also go off for 2.
And then
0.
He's fucking boom.
Yeah, that sucks for Phil. He's got 2 top receivers that have been super negatively impacted by the quarterback play.
Yeah, 2 huge. Luck didn't even start. Didn't even get a chance to get on the field this year.
No.
Phil's
Nick got some beat up pieces, but Nick gets another one of those patented Nick matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Going against the low scorer.
Now let's be honest.
Matchups, right?
Let's talk about the. We did say that this was the lowest scoring game, and even though Nick did come away with a large, victory, by whatever, maybe 20 points or a little bit less, his team did not have a little more than 20? Yeah,
24.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, 24 points.
24. But his team did not have the greatest showing. I mean, if you take Mark Ingram away, you've got a defense that got -2. Aaron Jones got injured. He only got 1.5. Jack Doyle, his amazing games were not this one. Only came away with 1 point. Ted Ginn, 0.5.
That's what happens with Ted Ginn. It's like feast or famine with that guy.
I would say so. Mariota had a decent game, 19 points. Lamar had, I would say, a regular Lamar game. You just need those touchdowns to get a little bit more. And Stephon Diggs did well. And DeAndre, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, his kicker did good, too.
So, he had a few good performances.
a few good performances, and then Mark Ingram.
One blow up. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
Jesus.
that was so. Joey, you know, because you've got Breeze in another league. Like how frustrating it's been to watch fucking Ingram snatch up all these touchdowns. Like,
well, dude, all the running backs had all those touchdowns. What was it? Five touchdowns
usually
between all the running backs.
Usually when Kamara gets touchdowns, they're receiving touchdowns. But even he got a rushing touchdown. They had fucking 6 rushing touchdowns last week
I thought it
as
was
a
5.
team.
Okay. 6
no, well, Breeze had one.
Breeze
too.
had one, and then some other guy,
some
other like third string running back.
Yeah,
got
I
a
saw
touchdown
that.
too.
So it was like 5 touchdowns between, or sorry, no, 4 touchdowns between Ingram and Kamara. Mm-hmm. Then you had Breeze's rushing touchdown, and then the random
other guy. Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, Breeze didn't even need to throw it, and then they've been blowing. Well, we'll get to Breeze, but yeah. Ingram's had one hell of a season though. This is crazy how well
their offensive line's super good, man. They just fucking crush everyone. They just pound the rock, and
dude, I have
no stopping them.
My hands are full. Can somebody tell me what Ingram is ranked right now?
I was actually just about to go look that up. He's got to be at least in the top 5. Oh, he's number 6. Okay, so
top 10, definitely.
Very wrong, but
yeah, but if you were to look at the last like 5 or 6 games, he's probably like number 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think like since his bye week, so starting in week 6, he's probably like the number 1 or 2 running back, like maybe behind Gurley or something like that.
Since they traded Peterson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good trade for him.
That was probably a big confidence booster for him. I mean, you guys, like, you're probably growing up and Adrian Peterson is your fucking, your hero. And then you're trying to do your starting job. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, your hero is going to take your fucking job.
Oh, well, and he's also like, he hasn't been a bad running back. Like, he's had some fumbling
No, he's never
issues,
been.
But still, he must have been like, dude, what the fuck?
Back.
Like, why the hell are you bringing in this guy?
They've kind of just finally dedicated a lot of touches to him, and they have a really good offensive line. They have a good defense, and they're not in negative game scripts all the time where they're having to.
That's been a huge part of it.
They have a good defense, so they're not having to catch up and play catch up, so they can run the ball. It's fucking crazy. You look at the points for the season for fantasy points. Mark Ingram and then Kamara is right behind him, only by 6 fantasy points.
For the entire
season. And it's like,
season?
shit, if you had both those guys, you could play both those guys in your team, and you'd have 2 top 10.
Dude, I was reading some Reddit threads, and there were people that said they have Ingram, Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Broncos defense, and Will Lutz, and they're fucking crushing it. Like they have like.
Oh, you mean Saints defense?
I mean, Saints defense, and the Saints kicker. Like you could have 6 fucking people that are helping you out so big from Saints.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, other than stacking and maybe having like a defense or a kicker, I was never a believer in having any other position like a quarterback and then something else. But you would never have multiple receivers or a running back and a receiver on the same team because you're like you're
it depends if it's a prolific offense. Like
that's
those rare cases. Yeah,
you're right. Oh, I used
like
to
Randy Moss and Wes Welker or something like that. When like shit like that. It's crazy.
Well, I never thought it was going to be viable in fantasy, and then Derek proved me wrong last year when he was running with both Demaryius and Emmanuel Sanders, and it was fucking working. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends.
Was that last year?
Yeah, I think that was last year.
Or a couple years
maybe
ago.
It was a couple years ago. I don't know. Yeah.
Probably when Manning was playing, maybe. I don't know.
You
have to ask Derek. He won't listen. He doesn't listen.
He's not listening. Maybe somebody else in the podcast would be listening. And funny enough, all those shit performances on Nick's team, he had some pretty awesome performances on his bench. He had Devontae Adams, actually. I think that was the one that I thought was pretty decent. What was it?
17 and
90. Yeah. 90.
Hundley's been throwing to him still. So
yeah, he's been looking okay. It's Nelson.
He might
really
be usable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and here's Crowell right here on the bench. Yeah, 90 on the ground and a touchdown. Last 2 weeks, before the bye, he had Minnesota week 8, and then this week Detroit. He had 17 and 15.5. That's nice. It's not too bad. He's got Jacksonville next, so don't think that's gonna.
So move on to the next one.
Yep.
Move on to the next one.
Let's we could talk about John Glasgow and Chris. As we were saying, John's team finally kind of took the brunt of some bad luck as he's been just crushing people for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but finally had his first loss in a while. And you can really see the impact that losing Zeke is going to have, and then having Mike Evans suspended as well. Yeah, all of a sudden you're throwing people like Alfred Morris, Chris Thompson, and AP had that really bad Thursday night game.
God, yeah.
So John's starting to fight. I'd be curious to see what he thinks about his team right now, but I think he was kind of feeling rich at one point earlier this season, and now kind of trying to scramble to put some pieces together.
Dude, yeah. And Chris's team still managed like 110, even with like Fournette and McCoy having pedestrian games.
Yeah,
he was. Chris was hanging out at my house for the games on Sunday, and he was pissed about those 3 running backs. I think he was really expecting.
Did pretty good.
Well, no, Le'Veon did well, but I think the way he looks at it maybe is just that what he paid for. He paid with at the time that top Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he was hoping for some of those higher games like Le'Veon had earlier in the year, like the 26s or the 20s.
They'll probably come, and he's getting consistent. You get consistency.
Dude, 26 rushes, shit.
Yeah, that's a lot. No,
and then a bunch of catches too. So.
Yep, that's always gonna help. But LaShawn McCoy. I guess that's
pretty weak the last couple of weeks.
Well, what do you think, Joey? I mean, have you watched them any since you had Tyrod Taylor?
I've watched him a little bit. I mean, I think it's just they're still going to feed him the ball, and he's still talented. So
he only got
it's also game script. I mean, the last 2 weeks when they played the Jets, they were getting blown up, and they had to just throw the ball around a bunch.
2 weeks in a row.
Last week they got destroyed by New Orleans. So you look at his usage: 12 rushes and then 8 rushes. Like it's just
it's horrible.
He's on a really bad team right now. So if they don't get off to a fast start, it's just he's not going to get as much work.
Yeah, so whether that continues with a new QB they've got the Chargers, Kansas City, New England.
Oh my God. Yeah, those are some tough games you could see them getting behind.
Those are 3 decent, Chargers offense isn't as good as Kansas City or New England.
Yeah.
But, they're not bad, though. I mean, they can move the ball, so...
We'll see. He could go off any one of those games, though.
Well, they might not have Phillip Rivers. If they have Kellen Clemens, they're not moving the ball at all.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah. So, but anyway, still a pretty good week for him, despite 2 of his best players kind of not doing that great.
Yeah. Not great. Cameron Braid also kind of disappointing, 1.5. But got enough from everywhere else. Rams 15, Forbath 10. Michael Thomas, that trade of his, certainly working on out, 16.5.
Yeah, I'd say.
Watch Sean. Now he's going to start going off the rest of the year.
I mean, it's always possible, but Michael Thomas is doing what he did. I'm still happy to have Hyde, so we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll see how he did this week also. And for John, other than I guess Russell, Demarius, Deshaun Jackson had a nice 11-point game, 6 for 82, I guess. Disappointing all the way around. He really got bit. For Mike Evans, he had to put in who?
He probably had either Will Fuller, I guess, or either
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, who actually
Deshaun Jackson
decent.
Worked out. Yeah, and Will Fuller not so much, and now I guess he's injured and is doubtful for next week.
Probably a good thing. Just get him out of your lineup.
He was already on the downturn.
He's a drop.
I think, Joe, you might be right because without Deshaun Watson with those deep balls, he might have almost no value.
Yep.
Savage is really terrible. He's not very savage.
No.
Jesus.
So we'll see. We'll see for John's team. I think he did a little activity on the waivers too, so maybe you'll see some changes. But yeah, it didn't quite work out for him last week. Kind of came back to earth.
Yeah, who did John pick up?
Gosh, I can't remember now.
We were just saying that.
It's the dog barking.
What? Did you guys just see what happened on the activity?
Oh shit!
Does anybody see
trade
this?
Here.
a little trade here.
Oh wow!
Well, shit, I just saw that.
John, okay, everybody,
breaking news.
Here we go. I'm sorry, everybody, we have breaking news. I'd like to bring in our league expert, Joey Lazareski. Joey, what can you tell us about what happened?
Oh my goodness, this is a crazy trade deadline acquisition here. Who is it? My computer's like, it's what, Michael Crabtree and Joe Mixon for, or no, it's Michael Crabtree just for Joe Mixon and Deshaun Jackson? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Interesting.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Huh.
Someone's knocking on my door.
Somebody's knocking at the door. The dog is barking.
Probably a murderer.
Yep, that's the last we ever heard of Sean.
I know, right?
That's
interesting trade.
That is a really interesting trade. Now, Phil, he has needed to get something. He knows he needs to get something done. So, I mean, props to Phil for, trying to use what you have. And God, John, even though Michael Crabtree's kind of been on the down as of late, that's John's team, and he knows the value. The value is there because Crabtree is just a fucking target monster who also is a red zone machine. So if he's going, that's going to be a big piece for John. And I would say Joe Mixon actually has been not too bad in Cincinnati.
He's not getting a lot of work, really, I don't think.
Not a lot of work, but I would say he's doing at least something with the work that he's got. I mean, even if you were to forget the first, let's say, two games of the season, that 2.5 and 3.5. Let's forget that. His lowest game is just a 5, and then 7.5. He's got a couple 9s.
No, he's definitely serviceable. Yeah,
I would say that's probably a great word for it, serviceable. And
that's the thing. Phil needs some depth.
Yeah,
and John has it, so they're kind of like that's kind of how it's working. So
yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty cool. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad we caught that one live. That's pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it just happened, huh?
That just happened.
We were just talking about, John's team, like Will Fuller, kind of getting rid of him, and now he's got Crabtree.
Oh shit! So now let's take a look at John's team with Crabtree really quick. What is that going to look like now?
Can't remember who his receivers are. Oh, he's got Mike Evans, Demaryius Thomas. He's got.
Wow, so he's going to have a potent 3 actually.
I wonder who proposed this trade.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's surprising. I don't remember seeing Phil really ever involved in a trade. I've
offered him trades before.
Yeah.
Joe, you offer everybody trades. If I feel if somebody
I haven't really offered you a trade this year. I just offered Jimmy a trade, and
I guess I'm just speaking historically.
Yeah.
You are a very active general manager.
Yeah, man, got to be a good GM, not some crap GM.
Can't have no crap.
You got to get 4. You get 4 championships. Not it comes from hard work.
It does come from hard work. That's no slacker shit. And I would say a lot of we've talked
Darth
about
Vader of the league.
The Darth Vader, dude. The Patriots of our fucking league. God damn it, always going, always in the postseason.
Can I just anyway? We all vetoed this trade, right?
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh.
I haven't put in my veto yet, but I'm just waiting for everybody else.
All right,
that's pretty
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool to see that, especially during the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, just catching that during the podcast. Now, all the rest of the games are where we start getting into our kind of high-scoring games. Let's go really quickly. Let's do the one party that's not involved. 2 parties not involved. Misha and Derek.
Yeah.
Now Misha did get the highest score this week with 149.5. I'm still praying. I'm still praying for a stat correction. Dude, scores are not official. Yeah, I know. Scores are not official till Saturday. So damn you, Misha. By 0.5, but did have a fucking, great game from a lot of his players, and then a fantastic game from Cam on
Monday
night
game. Man, I didn't even think Misha would be in the conversation for the highest scoring team of the week, because I remember looking, and before that game, I was the highest scoring team, and Brian was behind me, and I was like, "Oh, Brian, I think it's going to be between me and you for the top honors." And then you were like, "Oh, I think Misha's going to edge me out," and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Dude, that game was abysmal. I didn't really watch all of it, but I saw a little bit of it, and it looked like Miami had just completely given up. Like, they just don't give a shit anymore. They're just like out there going through the motions.
Maybe I only saw the beginning of it before the score started to get out of control.
Out of control. It just looked like the defense, Miami's defense, is like, "Fuck this! I just want to go home."
Well, if they have a teammate like Jay Cutler, man, I don't blame them.
Yeah, they're like, "Let's go fucking get high and smoke some cigarettes out back real quick."
That's a true replacement. Yeah, dude, that's a full Jay Cutler shit. Yeah. And dude, I mean, other than, let's see, who was the shit performances other than Doug Martin, I guess, and I guess you could say maybe Josh Lambo at 6, Doug Martin at 5. But dude, the rest of his team was great. Okay, he had Jake Elliott, his kicker, on bye. Okay, that's why. I mean, shit, you have.
Got Tevin Coleman too for this week.
Yeah, it's going to be nice for this week.
He's going to have him, for this week for sure. And then Sterling Shepard had a great game. Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
What, that Sterling Shepard?
The Niners.
Yeah. That was a lock.
God damn it. Let me put this over here. Everything keeps getting in my way. 11 for 142. Wow.
I saw some stat on Jarvis Landry that was like unbelievable. He has like the most receptions in the league, but then like the 30th most yards.
Yeah, no,
so crazy. Yeah, what's his average yards
per
catch?
Hard to do that. Like, you have way more receptions than everyone else, but it's like 5 yards a catch or something.
Yeah, wow. I mean, but you look at
I don't know what it is, but
looking at his receiving numbers though are insane. I can't believe how many catches he has every single game. Yeah. He started the season. They had that bye first because of the Hurricanes, but he started against the Chargers with 13 receptions, and then pretty much goes 6, 6, 5, 8, 7, 5, 6, 5. Jeez.
Yeah, so he's guaranteed 5 catches.
Yeah, and then sprinkling some touchdowns along with it, dude. That's not too bad at all.
It'd be better in full PPR, obviously. But yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, he's averaging 7.7 yards per catch or per reception.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
But how many receptions is he averaging per game?
Like probably 7.
He's got 61 receptions, but yeah.
That's insane.
Over, I don't know how many games he's played. What has he had a bye? He's had his bye week, right?
So. 10 weeks, so 9 weeks. 967 divided by 9. That's a fucking lot, dude.
That is insane. I can't believe that. Jesus. Well, yeah, dude. And Christian McCaffrey had a decent game. He was part of that Panthers game. He had 2 touchdowns, a receiving and a rushing. So, damn. Yeah, Misha was going ape. And then Cam with 43. 4 touchdowns, 254 yards, and he also had 95 on the ground.
Yep.
Pretty nice. And then over to Derek's side, you got Tom Brady.
That's about it. Yep.
Yeah.
At least he's got him.
I mean, shit, dude. I mean, Derek had a couple on bye. He had his Eagles on bye and Marshawn on bye. But at the same time, oh, man, dude, Frank Gore and James White, dude, these running backs are problematic.
Yeah, they're not very good.
No, not at all. It was just it was a tough go. Marvin Jones had been pretty awesome the last couple weeks, and then finally just 1 for 22. That was against Cleveland. And what were you saying that Cleveland was ranked against the pass, Joe?
I mean, they're pretty good. I think against wide receivers, they're like 12. It says they're 12.
12.
But I mean, they're okay. They've given up a lot of touchdowns though. So, but whatever. I don't know what happened there.
And then the Jags having a surprisingly low game, one of their only single digits games this year at 6 points.
Yeah, they've been such a good defense this year.
Oh, they Chris and I did a whole bunch of math one night when we got really fucked up. Yeah, I don't have.
That's what I do when I get fucked up. I do a lot of math too. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes it can be fun. Well, we were having this discussion about fantasy football, specifically about kickers and defense. Like, why we were just saying that the kickers and defenders like had ridiculous years, and so this was a couple weeks at the time. So let's see, the highest ranked defense had 111 points at that point in time. The highest ranked tight end had 104 points at that point in time. The third ranked wide receiver only had 97 points. So the Jaguars defense was scoring more points than the third highest wide receiver.
Yeah, it's like you should be able to flex a defense or a kicker or something like that.
I would say with those type of numbers, I would say why the fuck not? I mean,
everyone would be flexing kickers.
Yeah,
that's
seriously,
actually true.
It should be guaranteed points.
I mean, guaranteed points usually, and some of these kickers are averaging like fucking 10 points a game.
Dude, yeah, your fucking kicker, Brian Zuerlein, is nuts.
Yeah, I did not appreciate that this week.
Oh, good old Zuerlein.
All right, well, let's talk about your guys' matchup then.
I think that's a fair.
Hold on, let me go get the Drano really quick.
Get the suicide pills.
Yeah.
This was a close matchup. I mean, I remember looking at it in the morning games, like you guys were doing really well.
We started tied because we had the Thursday night game. He had Jimmy and I had Larry. I was really fucking worried when they had those two. Like Jimmy had those two touchdowns, and I pretty much, I turned off the TV. I was fucking pissed, and I was just like, God damn it, this is fucking stupid. And
Island games get people so mad because it's just like one game, you know.
Yeah. So. And then you have to wait so long until the rest of the games start. I was just like, fuck, this sucks, dude. I'm getting my ass just handed to me. Somehow, some way, Drew Stanton makes fucking Larry Fitz in garbage time. Like,
dude, he got like 6 receptions on that last drive.
I ended up seeing that very last drive after you ended up texting me. And I was just like, what? And I looked at how his night was going. I was just like, oh my God, he is actually putting up some fucking numbers. And then watched that very last drive, and they were just every single pass.
Yeah, we ended up tied. That. Yeah, you know that actually Stanton, I guess, is getting benched, and they're playing Blaine Gabbert this week.
I heard about that, so that's pretty crazy. So I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure
it'll be fine for Larry Fitzgerald. Blaine's probably just as good, or just as bad, I should say.
Yeah, I would say just as bad. I think I saw a stat that said he averages every 3.1 like pass attempts. That's like the average for interception rates or something like that.
That's fucking terrible. I don't think it's that high. Every 3 attempts he throws a pick. That would mean like he throws like 10 picks a game.
He should throw like when he was in Indy, he might have been throwing 10 picks a game. I can't remember.
He was on the Jaguars before he was on the Niners, and then now he's on.
What was that? Okay, I'm not Blaine Gabbert. What was that fucker that started for Indy when Peyton went down? And they had that, like, the season that they ended up, the season before they got Luck.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was Blaine Gabbert.
I try to block those crappy quarterbacks out of my memory bank.
I thought Blaine Gabbert was just on the Jaguars.
He was, he was drafted by them. But I did read something interesting that might be helpful for your spirits with him, is that Gabbert apparently likes to throw to the slot receivers, and Larry plays in the slot. Yeah. So, like, he used to throw the ball a lot to that Cecil Shorts guy who played in the slot. And then last year on the Niners, he used to throw the ball a lot to Jeremy Curley. He had like a career year last year for the Niners, and he played in the slot a bunch too. So I don't know if that'll carry over, but it seems like somewhat of a trend. So maybe you have a little bit of luck there with Gabbert.
Well, maybe.
Getting a start. We'll see.
I mean, we'll certainly see.
Brian, you picked up Texans defense, so I don't know. Against Arizona this week.
I'm just for. I mean,
Larry can still have an okay game.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have Eagles defense, and even though people or the stats are saying not to start them against the
Cowboys,
Dallas, that's probably most likely what I'm going to end up plugging on in is against the Cowboys. They're not going to have Zeke, and I think they're going to be without one of their better defenders. So it should be a nice. I think it would be a good. It could be a good matchup to start.
Got sacked 6 fucking times or something last week, so yeah.
By that one guy.
Yeah, that one dude, and he earned himself $750,000 because of that.
Holy shit!
Earn that much money in one day? That'd be nice.
Oh my God. Yeah. Off one day's work. Shit, dude. That definitely.
Back to our.
Anyways,
back to our matchup.
Back to the game.
So
that was early in the matchup.
Yeah,
well,
we were tied.
And then come the morning games. I feel the morning games were sort of an up and down thing for me because I had Thielen, who went fucking insane, which was pretty awesome.
Dude, I was fucking throwing pillows around and fucking lit my pants on fire in my living room when I was watching that.
Yeah, dude. He finally did get another one of those touchdowns that really helped, but 8 for 166 like that.
I know. I was like, what the fuck? Watching that. And then the thing that really pissed me off, Brian, I'm like, it was like the morning, I think it was the morning games. And I was like, okay, like, I'm just a little bit behind, but I had some more players left. And then all of a sudden, AJ Green scored a 70-yard touchdown.
Dude, yes.
Fucking turned into the Tasmanian devil and went through my kitchen wall, basically.
You want to talk about, I had I felt my day was very up and down. Devontae Freeman, full out, going out with a concussion, that was pretty goddamn depressing.
That was later, though.
That was later. I was just saying for my up and downs for the day. Josh McCown, if it was not for that last-minute touchdown that he had at the very end, he would have had a fucking horrible day. And that was
it all counts.
Yeah, it does count. So I got very lucky with that last-minute touchdown. And Joey, dude, your fucking running backs. Oh my God, that was
DeMarco saved me to keep it close because you had what's his name go off, Thielen, and so then I'm like, okay, well maybe this will be all right. Like I scored 27, DeMarco scores 27, Thielen scores 27. Okay, that's all right. But then I think it was that AJ Green. Once you scored that AJ Green bomb, then it was like I never caught up again, basically after that. So
well, you needed Joey. You needed some big because you had a lot of people still left. Like you had Matt Ryan and Julio. You still had Amendola, and like you needed a big game from Matty Ice and Julio, and it was just pretty. Yeah,
they let me
mediocre.
down. Yeah, actually, there was still you're right, Sean. There was still a chance, like if Matt Ryan threw a bomb to Julio or something like that, it would have made it pretty close. But then I guess ultimately it didn't matter because on Monday night he had Funchess score 23.5 points.
Yeah, I know, dude, and I was sweating. I was sweating after the Sunday night game. I feel like I dodged a bullet, like with Amendola, not doing all that great. But I felt like after watching Emmanuel Sanders just get all of these balls from Brock Osweiler, like I don't know how many targets that he had, but Jesus, he had.
You mean from Robert Pattinson?
He does look like Robert Pattinson. But dude, he had 114 yards. It says in the first half. Like he was just going crazy, and I was just
11 targets.
Yeah, I was just like, I made the fucking wrong mistake. Because I did that during the day. I was like, you know what? I just don't like this. I just don't like Brock throwing to Emmanuel. I'm just gonna take this out and I hope it doesn't bite me.
Who'd you put in instead? Funchess?
Funchess in,
yeah. I was just like, oh shit! I really hope this doesn't come back to bite me.
So yeah, I was super bummed. I mean, after a 1-point loss and then a tie a few weeks before that, I was like, fuck. And then also the fact that Kareem Hunt was out and Cooper is out and Hogan's hurt. I was like, oh, if I could get a win this week, be very, very helpful. But just Bry2 Sly just putting up the 149.
Yeah, second highest score by slim margin.
How did you honestly? How did you really feel about that? Were you thinking, Brian, like finally this is my week that I get that fucking bonus that's been so elusive?
I did think. All right, I'll be honest with you, Sean. Once I saw that Funchess was going off, and I was just like, "Oh shit," and you sent me that text message where you're like, "I think, oh, I think you got it." Like, I was just like, I ended up looking at my, because I was pretty much just looking at me and Joey's game pretty much most of the day, not really going to the other scores, and I was just like, "Oh man, you know what? Look at all these players that went off. This could be my week. This could be my day." And I went and I backed out into the scoreboard, and I saw Misha at 149.5, and I was just like, oh, whatever, little bit of hope that I just had that text, it went down pretty quickly. So I don't think crazy. I was all that bummed.
Yeah.
But Misha
I'm just pissed. I've started 2 defenses in a row, and they both like last week I lost by 1 point, and my defense gave me 0 points. I think it was. I can't remember. I think it was 0.
And then defenses.
And then, that was the Bills versus the Jets, I think, which I thought was a decent matchup, but then that didn't work out. And then this week was just like, I don't know, just played the Vikings against Washington. And they only scored 2 points, and it's just like those low scores end up getting you when you lose, in like tighter games. I mean, this wasn't that tight. You still beat me by like 20 something points, but
it was a lot. It was a lot closer before Monday night. Like I felt like you were only down by like 11 or like 12 maybe.
Before Sunday night, I would say.
Yeah, Benjamin, Amendola, and my defense, kind of were the weak spots. I mean, I definitely expected more from Julio Jones. He's been pretty disappointing, but
and that was a strange game too, because they stomped on Dallas, and what was it, 27-7, and even still with the 27, he only got 6 for 57. Like that's
I think he had a few more targets than that, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, he's only really had like 2 probably top 20 something or maybe like 15 performances, for that week. Like went over 100 yards twice, and then he only has 1 touchdown. Like it's ridiculous. Like
I actually had a question. How often have you started Matt Ryan since you got him in the trade?
I've started Tyrod once, and then I think I've started Matt Ryan the rest of the time. Okay. So I think anyway. I don't remember. But now Tyrod's not playing, so
it doesn't even matter. And even still, like I would say, since you've had Matt Ryan, he's been doing a lot better than he was doing earlier in the season. I mean, I
got him like week 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe
8.
I don't know.
And since week 7, he was 18, 19, 23, 18. Like that's not numbers that are hurting you.
Nothing terrible, but at least he was like a little bit. I know Roethlisberger, I think he's had that's who I had before. He's had probably a couple weeks, but I just can't trust that guy.
So inconsistent,
Yeah.
No, that ended up getting lucky for, who was it, Chris that started Roethlisberger this last week?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway, it was a tough loss, but, kudos to Brian for getting a big score.
Oh, thank you, Joe. It was a fun game. I know anytime I'm playing Joey, I'm always like sweating a little bit because I feel like Joey's been my nemesis when it comes to the playoffs. Like almost there was like a streak or like a period where every single time I lost in the playoffs, it was always to Joey. And it was
I think
just
we played in a championship probably once or
I don't know. See, like I think
twice.
I feel I've only ever gotten to our championship in this league once, and I've gotten to like the last those last games, the
semifinal.
The semifinals. Like I feel like
I remember that one, Brian, you remember that one playoff game? I think it was a semifinals where you had Matt Schaub and you were winning, and then he threw a pick 6, and then I ended up winning. Oh no,
it was that was our very first playoff ever in the league. The very first year we ever did the league. And it wasn't Matt Schaub.
Was it the first year?
It was the first year, and it wasn't Matt Schaub. I had Arian Foster. And
no, dude. There was
no.
It's specifically. I thought it was.
No. You're talking about the right play. You're talking about the right play. The right play. It's just what the situation was is that I had Arian Foster, you had Ray Rice, right? And I was like a couple points behind or something, and they like got the ball and they rushed it with the Arian Foster, and he got like 10 yards right away. And then they gave him the ball again, and then another 10 yards off of the carry, and they're still at like the 20 or the 30 of their own goal, on their side of the field, and all they need to do for me to win. So you just need to keep feeding this unstoppable monster the ball. Just keep feeding him. Matt Schaub decides, nope, this will be a great idea to go ahead and pass first down on one of the best fucking defenses in the NFL. And I think the Ravens ended up going off to win, or at least going far in the playoffs that year. Because that's when their team was still
drive. Okay, I've kind
of that was the pick 6 that ended the game, and Baltimore wins. You win. My playoffs are over.
Yeah, you were so pissed. I remember that.
Dude, Nick and I were living together at the time, and that was his fucking team. On their way to the playoffs. So Nick's just fucking dancing and being a little, Nick.
Yeah, because that was an important real life game too. I think.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
And I was steaming, Willie Beeman mad.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, want to talk about your matchup, Sean?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Last matchup, and it was an interesting one for me. I was definitely a little nervous kind of going into it. I was trying to remember if there were any Thursday night. Oh, yeah, Jimmy just had Paul Richardson from Seattle, and he got one fucking catch for like 42 yards, and that's how he got all of his points. But for me, this was finally one of the games where is the opposite game script, where like usually for me the morning games are good, and then like the afternoon is when I actually lose. And this was kind of the opposite, where the afternoon was really good for me with fucking Robert Woods, dude.
Dude.
Oh
dude.
My God.
And funny enough, dude, Jimmy is starting Goff. And Goff ends up putting 33. Robert Woods still got more points than Jared Goff. Like he had such an amazing game.
Yeah. So many fucking yards.
Oh, dude, 8 for 171 and 2 touchdowns. Holy shit.
2 big games in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
It was fun to watch. Like I only got to watch a little bit of that game, and like I just turned it on, and then the first thing I see is Robert Woods. Or no, I pulled open the app and I was like following along. I was like, oh, I hope something good happens. Then it was all Robert Woods 96-yard touchdown or something, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Wow, was it that long?
Or it was like 93 or 94. Yeah,
it was a big,
90-yard touchdown.
It was a huge touchdown. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then so he's been nice. Like a little waiver ad a couple weeks ago. Like Robbie Anderson continues his touchdown streak.
He's been so good.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns in a row.
He was really bad most of the game, honestly. Until the fourth quarter.
That's the touchdown that saved my fucking.
The McCown touchdown.
Dude. McCown was horrible that whole day, and
he had like 3 points for a while.
And that was a big bomb to fucking Robbie Anderson, and it went into the end zone, and that definitely saved McCown's for 14 points is not great, but better than
would have been
3
a lot worse.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for your quarterback? Yeah.
For my quarterback, but and great game from dude. I would say all the wide receivers this week.
Anderson really had 16 points. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 points.
Tate had a nice game.
Yeah,
finally
Tate had a
got
great game.
another touchdown. Yeah.
He's been been pretty good too. Hyde got you 10, and Lions defense, that was a good start.
Yep, definitely. The 14. Now, Lions defense have been one of the better defenses.
Well, they got
a
touchdown. That's what really saved them, because they still got 24 points scored against them, which I didn't think Cleveland was going to score that much.
They had 4 sacks though, and a fumble recovery in
they have
INT.
A dynamic enough defense; they'll pick up some points in other places.
Sean, did you draft that kicker, or did you pick him up?
No, I drafted him.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty late. It was one of the last couple rounds, but I was like,
I was just wondering.
I stream kickers a lot, so it's been nice not having to stream kickers.
That's where if the few kickers that get into the Hall of Fame, it's because they can do it for like 20 years and still be like one of the best kickers in the league. So for fantasy points, Gostkowski is the number 4 kicker this year so far.
Yeah, he's been good.
Yeah, super solid. And then Breeze, just kind of disappointing, 13, but obviously, that's just the way their games have been going. But hopefully their matchups look a little tougher pretty much through almost the rest of the season. So hopefully he has to throw it around a little bit more.
Yeah.
At least he's at home 2 of the next 3.
Yeah, that's helpful too. And then Jimmy's team just really didn't get it going. In the morning, Juju Smith-Schuster had a really nice game, and that was definitely making me nervous.
Juju.
Yeah, the Juju.
Juju.
But nobody else really did anything on his team. Hunter Henry, fucking terrible. Even Antonio Brown. I mean, he had Juju, getting all the points, but you always think Antonio is going to score at least more than 10 points.
No kidding. Yeah, Randall Cobb didn't do much. I mean, really, the only people that he had in double digits was just the Patriots D at 14 in the first. They scored a touchdown, had a interception and a fumble recovery.
Yeah, then Juju and Goff, and that's it.
Juju and Goff. Goff with that 33, like we were talking about earlier. Damn. And by the way, the last 2 weeks, 37 and 33 for Goff. That's pretty fucking.
Yeah,
he feasts on crappy teams though. If you look at like his splits against good teams like Seattle and Jacksonville, it's like really polarizing. Like
played Washington.
He tears up crappy teams. It'll be interesting to see how he does against Minnesota.
And then New Orleans next week
and
too.
New Orleans,
pretty good. Yeah, like 2 pretty good teams he has to face. So we'll see if he's able to execute in those more difficult matchups.
Mm-hmm. Well, that will certainly be pretty telling, dude. And yeah, the running backs super disappointing from the running backs too. 1.5 from Cohen. I think he ends up dropping him. He ended up dropping him.
He was just he like needed somebody to fill in because who did he have?
Yeah, his whole bench was on bye.
Bench was bye, so he nothing much he could really do with that.
Better days ahead for Jimmy.
Yeah, pretty lucky on my part that I didn't have to go against Tyreek Hill, Jared Cook, Alex Smith, like Raven. Pretty much, it was a nice week to play.
Everybody,
Jimmy,
Hey, Jimmy still could have beat a couple people in the league.
No, dude, and then
3 people
up until the afternoon game with Goff. Like Jimmy was projected to get like 72 points, and then Goff went off. It kind of saved his week. Yeah. But yeah, it was looking pretty bad early on.
Yeah, he could have beat John, Derek, and Phil, even with his kind of like full team on bye, basically. So that's not bad.
Jimmy continues to have teams score a lot of points against him. That's been his theme this year.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate that.
All right. Well, before we just do some picks for this week. We can actually review the picks from last week because we never fucking do that. So let's just do that.
No, we never do that.
Let's just do it real quick. So let's see. In Derek's matchup, Brian, me and you picked Misha, and Nick picked Derek. So me and you were very right on that one.
Nice.
We all took.
You bastards all picked Brian versus me. So
we all picked Brian, so we got that one right.
Voodoo strike.
No voodoo strike. Damn it.
All of us took Chris against Glasgow, so we got that one right as well.
Voodoo strike.
Let's see. I took Phil. That was bad, and you guys took Nick. So good for you guys. And then you guys all picked Nick picked me, and then Brian, me and you picked Jimmy, and I picked Jimmy for that voodoo shit, and that worked out. So
yeah. Damn it. So I got one. I did. So I got one wrong.
Yeah.
Oh man,
dude, I'm gonna start fashioning a doll, like a fantasy football doll, and start so each of my opponent's team name on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some hair.
Lauren, I need some help with my voodoo doll. Can you get a sewing kit out?
Yeah, we need his running back to go out with an injury. All right, so we're gonna go and stick a pin in his knee. All right, here we go.
Exactly.
What movie is that from? Where there is like a voodoo doll and it like she puts the pin in and you get to see the guy's reaction. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. There's a lot of movies.
I do know what you're talking. There is a specific movie that I'm thinking of where she like puts a pin in his like neck or something like that. Yes, I can think of that exact like scene, and I can't even think about what that.
Dude, I just googled voodoo doll, and it's fucking terrifying. I'm not gonna do that again. Jesus.
It's not Indiana Jones, is it?
I don't know. I'll have to think about
Voodoo doll movie is even scarier when you Google that. I'm not doing that.
God damn, Joey, stop talking about the scary ass shit you find on Google.
It's not too good.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. Dude, voodoo is just that's some scary shit. Maybe we shouldn't be fucking around with the voodoo. We don't think we have any voodoo juju, but maybe there is.
Juju got voodoo.
Yeah, maybe juju voodoo. Juju. All right, now we're staying. So
we just sound like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna toke my other bullski, and we can go ahead and I guess maybe talk and pick these matchups.
Right, well, let's
real quick.
Yeah,
I was gonna say real quick before we talk. Just quickly go over the matchups this week. I wanted to see. I told Sean this before he started recording, but real quick, if you guys were to predict one team, you could pick yourself if you want to win the whole thing this year based on how all the teams look at this present moment. Who would you pick? I kind of thought that it was an interesting question, given that, like, I don't know. I feel like in past years there have been teams that have been super dominant. Like Brian, last year your team was really fucking good all year long.
Yeah.
I've had a team that's been really good before. I think the year that Jimmy won, I'm pretty sure his team was really good that year.
Yeah, dude, he had Gronk that record-setting year. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, and then I mean, there's been I know John Glasgow had a really good team one year, and I think I probably played him in the finals or something like that. And like this year, it seems like I don't know. It seems like the top is kind of a little bit more jammed up, and it's not as definitive. So I just wanted to see if you guys had any. You could put it on the write it down and look at it, at the end of the year at your prediction, who you think is gonna, take the whole thing.
I don't know. I've got my prediction.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I have mine too, actually.
God, man, maybe I'm putting way too much thought into this because I feel like this is
just
a lot.
It's impossible to know, but just if you were just to quickly guess.
Well, I want to make a calculated guess. I want to try to make, or an educated guess. I want to try to be as
an estimate. An estimate.
All right, you guys go ahead. You guys go ahead and talk about yours, and I'll take a look and decide.
All right, Sean, you go ahead since I asked the question.
Yeah. Well, and let me know if yours is the same as mine, because then we can kind of talk about it. But I think Brian's team is the strongest team right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing actually. So I was just looking at all the teams when you and I were talking about it.
Let's not talk about this anymore because we don't want to talk about Brian in such high terms when he's here
we don't
want
to just let him fucking get sticky pants like Nick all of a sudden. So.
Dude, I do not think I feel I saw exactly what his face was like when he saw whenever he was talking about describing the Deshaun Watson like big bomb. He just makes that trade. He sees that fucking pass and he's just like, it's the first play of the game and he's just like, oh my god. Like, yeah, dude, that's so fucking.
Yeah, I haven't looked at all your matchups, Brian, but I think your team's pretty consistent, and you got Wentz too, who's been really good, and then Gurley's been just like a wrecking ball, and Thielen's been coming alive. Evan Ingram has just been getting targeted like a ton. So
let's look at this. I mean, this is pretty fucking nuts when you look at the pre-rankings for where all your guys are ranked, Brian, like Carson Wentz, number 1 overall, Todd Gurley, number 1, AJ Green, number 3, Larry Fitz, number 4, Thielen, tied for number 4, Evan Ingram, number 4, Greg Zuerlein, number 1. Like, that is so many top 4 people or like the top scoring at their position. Like, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at your points against, Brian, not to give you a bigger boner, but if you look at your points against, it's actually a lot, and
it's a lot. No, dude, it's a lot.
You still managed to get you've definitely had a tough schedule, and then you've actually still put up you got 30 more points than I do, so you're second in points, I think, in the league.
Yeah,
so,
I think I'm also second in
behind Misha,
and second in points against also.
So
you've had to fight.
I don't know. Yeah, it might maybe you're gonna start building your own little dynasty this year. But there's a lot of other people here, 9 other people that have something to say about it. But,
I think there are a lot of people that have something else to say about it. I mean, I do appreciate the love you guys.
Wait. No, not appreciating.
Had nothing to do with love.
This is just factual based science. There's
analytics,
no opinions involved here.
Now you guys are breaking my heart. I felt like I was actually being loved and appreciated.
Well,
but
we hope you drop all your good players tomorrow, so that
it may end up happening. I don't know. I feel like, in all honesty, if you look at the team, really a lot of where it came from is definitely a lot of luck and circumstance. Like, for instance, Carson Wentz was an ad, right? Evan Ingram was a waiver ad, and Carson Wentz just happens to have a great year this year. Evan Ingram making the best out of a situation because Odell ends up going down, and somebody's got to have to get Eli targets, and dude, Thielen, I was not expecting.
Yeah, dude, when what's his name went down basically in the second week. I remember you were very nervous about Thielen, and he had a really bad performance that week, and you were like, fuck, I wish I had known, maybe I wouldn't have played him, but he really has come around.
He's only got 2 touchdowns, but he's got that first game 20 points, and he's got this last one 27, and he's got a couple other double digits sprinkled in between. So he's actually just a really good wide receiver in real life. So so we'll see. Not just fantasy, but just making good catches and stuff like that. So we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming you're picking yourself too. Then Voodoo strike it.
Fuck it, Voodoo strike it, baby.
Ooh, shit! Here we go, baby. Here comes the collapse.
Wow. Well, no one. Sorry, everyone. I guess you can just shut this podcast off now, since no one else is talking about any of your
I bet you everybody already did shut off this podcast. The second everyone was like, I think Brian's team's all right, that's it. I've listened to enough this week.
Fuck, Joey Bryan talking about their teams. Turn this crap off.
God. Sean, why don't you talk about
hey, that should be a fucking wake-up call and reminder to everybody else to come on the podcast and talk about your team and have your team be talked about a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we still, like, I would say, like, Nick's done it before. Joey's done it before. I think Chris has done it before.
We've got to get some. Glasgow has done it before. Yep. Yeah.
That's we got to get some. We got to get some people on. I mean, definitely want to get Jimmy. Definitely want to get Phil. Misha. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you should come on. I don't think we'd ever, in a chance in hell, get Derek to come on. But who knows? Maybe we'll just call him up one day and be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? How come you never listen to the goddamn podcast?"
Yeah. Well, I will say, just to give someone else a little bit of an ego boost, is Misha's team's been doing really good too.
Misha is scary. Has got a scary team. I mean, Cam Newton has been looking great, like as of recent, especially this last game. But I mean, okay, so
he's kind of up and down, but he's got some good players as well. So we'll see what happens. True. Yeah. I don't know how that concussion thing's going to linger for Freeman. But.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see. I think, who knows? Maybe Misha is right for a trade.
Have you not had anyone that's gotten injured, Brian?
I've been affected by injuries, but not directly injured. No, like I lost
Carson for multiple weeks.
No, I haven't had to.
So see, that always comes into effect. That always matters. I
had Larry Fitz who had Carson go down, but I mean he's been able to sustain.
I'm gonna go, Brian. I'm gonna go real quick. I'm gonna go back to week 1 and just look at what your team looked like and see how different it is. Obviously,
he has a lot of the
your
same
quarterback
players,
is going to be different, but you had.
I started
Dalton.
I think I started like 5 quarterbacks this year.
I mean, most of your core is the same. I mean, Devontae Freeman, Gurley, AJ, Fitz
and Thielen.
Sanders,
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I've had. Yeah,
when he scored 69 and I crushed him like a little fucking slug.
Oh my God, yeah, holy shit.
Great. So you can consider this, Joey, my revenge on that first week. As my team coming up. We start slow, but boy, do we get going. I think that's always actually been me the last couple of years. My teams have started really slow.
Hey, you do have a lot of the same players, though. Just your tight end. You don't have Lynch anymore, and you have a different quarterback, basically.
Different quarterback. Yeah, no. It just, like I said, kind of circumstance. Wentz was available for everybody. It just kind of got lucky with the game.
2 of my players from week 1 are on IR.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. There's a lot of people. So you, Derek, who else has been Nick, really badly hit? Jeez,
so I mean, it takes a lot to fucking win.
Odell Beckham.
It takes a lot to win a fantasy league. You got to have a little bit of luck in keeping your team healthy too. And I mean, got to hand it to
filling them, finding someone who can give that production, which is like really difficult. So.
That's something I always feel like there are definitely a lot of people in the league. Joey, I think, and Sean, you've definitely done a lot this year too. Like being able to not just the draft is not going to be your whole team. The waiver is going to, like the entire year, you are going to really help construct the team that's going to get you into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's pretty much inevitable. I mean, it would be nice if you had a team where they just stayed healthy and were good and you didn't have to replace them, but it's always inevitable.
Yeah, you got to manage, got to do the wheeling and dealing and the pickups and all that stuff.
But
all right. Sorry to digress there. But,
no, Brian loved it.
But,
I'm not gonna.
I just wanted to give Brian a giant ego boost and make his 2017.
Blowing a whole bunch of wind up my skirt and shit. Jesus, you guys.
Okay. Well, I guess we should probably. Yeah.
We've
been on for a while.
Yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half already. So let's not have another over 2-hour one here. But let's do some picks for this week and see how we fare out.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Joey. You are playing against Chris, and I remember you texted me earlier that you are a little bit nervous about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has some pretty good matchups this week. He's got his, as Brian coined it, 3-headed monster going. Mm-hmm. Ben's got a pretty decent matchup if he ends up sticking with him against Tennessee. I think that could be a pretty real good competitive game. Michael Thomas looked real good last week, and he's going to be at home against Washington. And Josh Norman doesn't usually shadow wide receiver 1, so he shouldn't be on him the whole time. Le'Veon always always good, even though Titans are pretty good. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I guess the one saving grace would be, Fournette against Cleveland. They have a really good run defense. I think I read that somewhere earlier this week. But overall, I mean, he's got a good team, and he's projected for a lot of points. I know that doesn't always mean anything, but
let me take a look at that. What are the projections? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's projected like 126. So I think that's what it says, right? 126.6. So.
Yeah, 126, and you're at 115. Well, we're about now. Are you pretty set on your lineup, Joe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got Matt Ryan in Seattle, which sucks, but at least Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas, members aren't playing.
They're not going to be the same. I mean,
yeah,
they
so
just
that
let
makes
up.
Makes me a little. They've let up some points, right? So so we'll see about that. I mean, Arizona's quarterback only scored 16, and Kirk Cousins did pretty shitty in Week 9, but that was a few weeks ago. So
yeah, I mean, but you're still letting Arizona's fucking shit quarterback, throw for like 16, get a whole bunch of garbage. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, dude, Kareem.
I'm not happy about it, but yeah, Kareem Hunt's got a great matchup too, so that could help. Giants are fucking terrible. Yeah. And Kamara's been good, so and Washington's been, I think, kind of middle of the road against the run. So I got a few decent matchups here. Hopefully Amari can have a good game against New England, who's been terrible against wide receivers. So that would be really nice because I made that trade and I'd like to reap some more benefits.
Yes, absolutely. No kidding.
But yeah, overall, I'm not. I got Butker though. That's the X factor. Got the Butker.
Dude, I know about
good
that
matchup for Butker too.
Yeah, and I did pick up Cardinals defense, and I think that could be helpful. I'm hoping because
so bad.
Houston's been hemorrhaging defensive points. 14-8. They gave 8 points to Indianapolis, 15 points last week to the Rams, and then Seattle got 14 points. I know Cardinals aren't as good as Seattle or the Rams probably with their defense, but still they should. Savage is completing less than like 50-something% of his passes, and he's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that
turn it over.
Yeah, I'm hoping that works out. But overall, Chris is coming into I think his team's performing better as of late. He's got a bunch of good players. His team's way different than it was at the beginning of the year. So
he's going to have his
struggling a little bit more.
He's going to have his full team, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got everyone, I think. Right, Sean?
Nobody on bye.
Yeah, he's got his whole team. No major injury impacts, so he should be good to go.
Yeah, Brate's going up against Miami, who are terrible against the tight end too. So yeah, overall, that's
He's got LaShawn
little
McCoy.
concerned.
He's got LaShawn McCoy going up against the fucking Chargers, and they are the goddamn worst.
Yeah, 30th against the run.
They've been horrible just for years.
Or against running back, anyway, as far as ESPN's concerned. So yeah, there's your data there, so you guys can voodoo strike.
Are you picking yourself, Joey?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I. Well, you guys go ahead and.
This one's close, man. I think this might end in a tie.
Well, I don't know about a tie.
Classic Joey tie.
We've seen
another 2 ties in a year.
Yeah,
I'll just
dude.
slit my wrists right now.
No, in all honesty, like going back and forth, like I feel there are a lot of positives and negatives on each team. Like in all honesty, I do feel that Ben will probably have the better game over Matt Ryan. Ben against Tennessee, Matt Ryan versus Seattle. Although the Chargers should be a nice, juicy matchup for LaShawn McCoy. I don't trust the Bills right now. Like, dude, they've looked horrible, and you have a great running back, and you're not giving them any touches.
Yeah.
Regardless of game script.
Kareem
he's also
the edge there.
Yeah, probably. I think he gets the edge. And then of course versus Kamara and Bell. It's hard not to give Bell the edge, even though Kamara's been playing great. I'll probably have to give Bell the edge. Julio, you're going to take over Brandon Cooks most likely. I don't know why he has Corey Davis in there when Sammy Watkins has 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks.
Maybe
he's kind of streaky though.
I guess. I guess maybe that's it. I definitely give Devontae Parker the edge.
Yeah, he's actually been okay when he's played.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of like the Lamar Miller or something of like wide receivers.
Always getting those 8 or 9 points for you.
Yeah.
And well, you'll take it. I will say I do. Michael Thomas has been looking pretty damn good, and I guess Amari has just kind of been a big question mark, even though I think Amari's got a juice matchup. This is very back and forth for me. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's kind of even all the way.
I think it could come down to the quarterbacks, honestly.
It might.
Like, as far as where do you find like the biggest difference between these teams? Like maybe the quarterback, but yeah, this is really tough.
Murray and Fournette, I think he's got me on the flex position with Fournette, but I don't know. That could be a snowy kind of weird game up in Cleveland.
Yeah, who knows? And DeMarco just had 3 touchdowns this last week.
I can't pick against myself. I got to be confident and go into this. I can't just voodoo strike myself. So.
I can't.
Yeah, I mean, my head is telling me Chris probably has the edge, but I'm gonna. My heart's got to go with me. So
I think I have to pick your team, Joey, and I think it comes down to Chris has 3 people going on the Thursday night game, and that just usually spells trouble.
That is.
I didn't realize that. That's fucking crazy. Tomorrow.
I mean, you've got somebody on Thursday, so yeah, tomorrow night's game is big for you guys.
Who do I have? I don't even know.
You've got DeMarco.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's got Ben and Le'Veon going, and who else?
Corey Davis.
Is so frustrating.
Dude, I don't know. I do not. Honestly, I just don't. I don't. If he starts, he might start Corey Davis. I have no idea, but.
Corey Davis almost had a touchdown last week. He fumbled into the end zone, though.
Well, I mean, Chris has been talking him up, and I know he was injured, right? A lot of the season, or just coming back or something.
He pretty much should have had that touchdown last week. That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, he just lost it before it went.
That was such a sweet play that he made. Like, oh man, can't believe that turned into.
So anyway, Brian, who are you gonna pick, man? Come on, Brian.
This is such a coin toss. You know what? I'm sorry. We're just going to do it. We'll voodoo strike it. I think.
No, it's not a voodoo strike because I picked. Oh, you're going to voodoo strike Chris?
Well, didn't you pick for you and Sean picked for you?
Yeah, that's right. Sean did pick for me.
Then this will be. I'm sorry, Chris, but I think this is going to be a voodoo strike for Joe.
They're definitely going to lose.
That's exactly what Chris would have been saying if we had all chosen him for the voodoo strike. I bet you. I just feel that there are some pieces of Chris's team that are going to be question marks. That Corey Davis on Thursday night, I just don't see. I think you are certainly starting Le'Veon and Ben.
Corey Davis is definitely going off for like 30 points tomorrow.
Have a huge game.
Well, then maybe that's what Chris wants. All right. Well, we'll voodoo strike it. We'll just keep the ball rolling.
Sean,
Joey,
I think that down.
Yep.
By a slight edge. The razor's edge. I'll go ahead and give you the vote.
Should be a good game though.
I think so.
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a really close one.
All right, let's move on to a matchup that I'm very intrigued in because it's got 2 4-6 teams that I am hoping just stay away and let me continue to try and fight my way into a playoff spot. So Derek and Jimmy are both 4-6, just as I am. So we're all in that kind of fighting for the last 1 or 2 playoff spots here.
Hopefully they both lose.
Yeah, exactly. So both of them are coming off of losses. And I see Jimmy is going back to Alex Smith, even though Jared Goff has been crushing it the last couple days. But certainly a tough matchup against Minnesota. And Alex Smith's got that juicy Giants matchup.
Yeah, I don't think
he's got Jay Ajayi throwing back into his lineup. He'll have Tyreek going again, Jared Cook again. Oh, interesting. Yeah, rooted around in Nick's trash can, or was it Nick? I think Nick dropped
Aguilar's?
Nelson Aguilar, and all of a sudden now he's in Jimmy's lineup. So that was quick.
I love how we were talking about rooting through each other's trash cans.
And then on Derek's side, he's got Brady as usual. He's got Marshawn again. And then right now he doesn't have a kicker. He doesn't listen to this podcast, so this won't be a reminder for him. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like he can probably drop somebody, and he also has Zach Ertz on his bench. So I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
No, I don't know what he's doing. He picked up Jason Witten specifically to bench Zach Ertz.
No, he picked up Jason Witten last week because Ertz was on bye last week. Yeah.
Was it last week?
It was. Yeah, he played Witten last week.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He'll change it out. He always looks.
Yeah, he'll probably change that, and then he'll probably find a kicker too, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, this one I wish
last week.
I thought this one might jump out as an easier pick, but this is kind of a tough pick. Joey, you have any thoughts so far?
Yeah, I'm picking Jimmy.
You're picking Jimmy?
I think Alex Smith and Tyreek Hill, along with
Antonio
I think
Brown.
Jared Cook could have a good game, and I think Antonio Brown could have a good game. And I think Ajayi, I think that he'll be better on Philly. I don't know if he'll be great, but I think he has more opportunity there. I'm not really seeing that much that I'm really loving over on Derek's team besides Tom Brady at Oakland. Or actually, that's in Mexico City.
It's going to be a huge game for them, the Dallas and Philadelphia game. That's going to be the deciding factor.
Dez could maybe he'll bring it. But otherwise, I mean, overall, I just like Jimmy's team more this week. So sorry, Derek, even though you don't listen to it. So I'm not really sorry. Anyway.
1, 2... Yeah, Jesus, that's going to be a really important game. They have 5 players playing in that game.
Yeah, that's a huge game right there. I think I got to give Jimmy the edge a little bit as well. Just up and down the lineup, I just think is a little bit more consistency, and that Alex Smith Tyreek Hill matchup is looking real good too.
Yeah, McKinnon's still getting a lot of work, even though he hasn't had a good game. I think maybe for a couple weeks, but he's still getting a lot of snaps, so you never know. He could break one too. Yeah.
No. Man, I'll probably have to go with Jimmy as well. I just
Voodoo strike.
Oh shit, Jimmy.
He's like a soundbite.
Doesn't love it.
Soundbite for that.
Jimmy hates the voodoo strike.
Yeah, he called it last week.
Crowder has been totally up and down. I mean, Marvin Jones was doing great and then fucking fell flat onto the earth last week. James White, I think, he's had some serviceable numbers, but even still, I don't trust that. I strictly do not trust Marshawn Lynch with a fucking 10-foot pole. That's just me. And I don't like that. Well, I mean, he probably hasn't plugged Zach Ertz back in, but I would definitely do Ertz over Witten for sure.
Dude, Ertz has been so good this year.
Yeah.
I bet you wish you had that connection, Brian. Although you do have Ingram. So.
I do have Ingram, but even still, dude, Ertz has been pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put my vote in for Jimmy.
All right, sweet. All right, we can move on. Let's do John and Nick. In pretty intriguing matchup here. Just John certainly right in the thick of the playoff hunt, and Nick sitting very well at 7-3. But I know he's not just strutting around with his dick out and super confident.
He's definitely doing that right now.
Yeah.
Now he's starting Derek Carr.
So is Nick for real, or is he a pretender in first place then?
Well, that's what we're finding out so far.
Yeah.
Misha just overtook him in points, so we'll see if that starts any kind of trend for
he needs to stay alive if he wants to keep that top spot.
Trying to get a bye week.
Yeah, if we're starting to talk about bye weeks, I mean, he needs to keep the juice going, and it would have been a tougher matchup had John had his full team, but circumstances being what they are, John is much more limited than he was. Ezekiel Elliott being out, I mean, that guy was a huge part of John's team. I mean, he was the third ranked running back and still didn't play last week. Just amazing. Besides that 3-point game, 16, 16.5, 16.5, 27, 40.5, 26.5. I mean, some 15s in there. He's been amazing this season. And without that, what has he got? I mean, Chris Thompson has been kind of up and down. I think more down as of recently.
Well, he should be good now because the other guy, I forget his name, went out with
Rob Kelly.
Yeah,
Rob
Kelly's
IR.
out, so that opens the door for Chris Thompson.
Yeah, I think he'll have a good game.
Alfred Morris, I personally don't really trust it. Mike Evans should be good. Demarius should probably be good. Well, and then we know John's going to have Crabtree as well, so he'll be filling that in somewhere.
Ooh, that's a good point. I forgot, and I don't know if we took into account.
And that's actually very interesting because Nick's got Derek Carr. So if Derek Carr is throwing and Crabtree's getting the points,
tons of touchdowns,
that hurts Nick right there.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. Did we
all to Amari? Give him to Amari. Throw him to Amari.
Did we talk about Phil's matchup already? Then
no, we haven't yet.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to keep that in mind.
He'll probably plug in Crabtree for Galladay, I would guess.
That would probably be my first guess. I mean,
Mike Evans, Demarius, and Crabtree, that'd be great. And I don't know if you're going to be comfortable with Peterson in the flat. Or I don't know if you're going to be comfortable with Peterson. Period. I don't know if I would be able to trust him.
I don't know. He's been up and down, but
Nick picked Vernon Davis up too. He's been doing pretty good.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends if Reed's going to play this week or not.
Shit. This is
pretty close.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. I'm not all that crazy about John's running back situation.
But especially Philly's so good against running backs too.
Yeah. But I have to admit, with Crabtree, team doesn't look too bad. He also he's using Justin Tucker against Nick. It's Nick's namesake, and he's using him against.
Oh man,
yeah, that's
that
nice.
would be funny, right?
Fuck
if he loses by like,
you know what?
Nick
Fuck the analysis. I'm done with the analysis. He's using his namesake against him. There's no way this guy can lose. John, fucking that's it. I'm putting in my vote. No way.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably go with John too.
Yeah, I'm also gonna pick John just for the voodoo.
Voodoo strike, dude. How many voodoo strikes do we have so far?
We had everything.
I don't know. It's close. I think it just depends on how well Carr does and where those TDs go. But
where they go. I know you're hoping.
If Carr has a big game, like a really big game, and Crabtree, even if he has like a 15-point game, I think Nick could win. But I think it's really gonna, because like New England's been really bad in the beginning of the year against the quarterback, but then they've actually been kind of okay last few games. So that's what gave me. Well, that's why I picked John. So like if they continue to play decently against the pass, then I think it's going to be tough for Nick. But you never know. I don't know. Maybe someone like Ingram or Hopkins will blow it up, and we'll be wrong. But whatever. So
all right. Well, all three picking John.
Three voodoo strikes in a row.
Three voodoo strikes so far. And then this one, we've got Misha going up against Phil. And then Phil is desperately looking for some help here. He's on a 3-game losing streak, has not been scoring a lot of points lately. And then Misha is the defending high score champion from last week and is rolling along far. But should be an interesting week for Misha because he's got some major bye week impact here. So he's
hard to evaluate this one.
Yeah, he's got some work to do.
What is he going to do? He's going to have to drop. He's going to have to drop people.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some droppable people on his.
Who would you?
bench.
No. Who would you drop?
Well, don't say that.
Yeah, it's kind of influential.
I mean, I'm okay. I guess that's
you can't say that shit. Yeah.
But
not that Misha would probably listen to us anyway, but still.
I'm just saying he does.
He's got a lot of good pieces all over his team, and you need a bench spot for Cam, and you need a bench spot for Christian. Somebody's going off, and he's gonna have to part with some.
Well, probably drop Cup or McFadden or Macklin. I mean, I don't know. He probably doesn't really care. So
yeah, maybe he doesn't.
He's definitely gonna put Kelsey in. So and then he'll put. Does he have another running back?
Yeah, he's got Tevin. He can move Tevin.
He'll put Tevin into the running back position and then put.
So he really just needs
Kelsey in the flex. He just needs a quarterback. Yeah, he'll drop like Cup or McFadden or something like that and pick up a quarterback.
Yeah, it's not too much of rocket science here.
Well, we like making it rocket science. It just makes it more interesting.
But
more...
that said, I mean, not having McCaffrey and Cam Newton, who basically got you like almost 70 points or like 60 points last week, that definitely is going to hurt.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of pieces coming back, and he's going to have...
Phil's team is beat up, though, kind of, too.
We'll see. If Jordan Reed plays, that should definitely be helpful. I mean, Jordan Howard... I don't know. Detroit's got a pretty... I guess they haven't been very good against the run. They let up a lot of touchdowns. But
Duke Johnson against Jacksonville.
Sanu, Curse, and Nelson, like that receiving core just doesn't really scare me at all.
Well, now who's he getting again? He's going to be getting Deshaun Jackson, and he'll be getting Joe Mixon.
So yeah, he's got some playable people coming in.
I almost feel like we can't even pick. But
yeah, there's going to be a lot of moving parts in this one. I mean, I think just the way it's been, I think I would just kind of have to go with Misha's team. I mean, unless he gets a quarterback who just throws up a real stinker, I mean, his team's just been really good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, or I'm certainly hoping for Phil's sake that trade ends up panning on out, and that Deshaun and Joe Mixon. I've liked Joe Mixon this year. I was looking for him earlier in the year as a nice a safety, a fill-in if need be. But I certainly think he'll be serviceable. I guess it's just, can you get up to the same sort of point totals that Misha's been putting up recently? I mean, he still's got Baldwin, Landry, Shepard. They're all going to be going most likely. Like you guys said, he's going to be popping in Kelsey probably.
Yep.
He could pop in because
too.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's like up against Seattle, I mean, Tevin Coleman's going to have the job all to himself this next week, so he could be a good fucking fill. I think Misha's still got a lot of good pieces to use, and I think for Phil's sake, it's kind of a wait and see. He has Jordan Reed in right now, interestingly enough.
Dude, Kelsey should smash the Giants. They're terrible against the tight end.
They've let up a touchdown in every single game to a tight end.
It's pretty bad.
I'm picking Misha.
Yeah.
All right. Misha for the
Sorry,
strike.
Phil.
Wow. All right. Voodoo curse it.
What if we voodoo curse every game?
Well, I don't think it's going to happen since one of us has to pick against ourselves.
Shit. Yeah, you're right about that. Because,
that's true. Yeah.
Got me and Brian, and I'm certainly not happy about this matchup. The timing of it.
I get to be on the podcast when you guys play each other. That's great.
Yeah, that's so great. I'm not too happy coming into this matchup. Like Brian, we already talked up your team a whole bunch, being probably the strongest in the league, arguably right now. You had a huge week last week. You've got everybody healthy and ready to go. And you got Wentz back in your lineup now. I've got Hyde, who's on his bye week. I've got Robbie Anderson on bye week.
Oh, shit. This was the Hyde bye week?
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude, did I get lucky there.
So
wow.
that
sucks.
I'm still kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, honestly, about my flex position. I don't really know 100% quite yet, but that's kind of my only decision-making that I still have to do.
Yeah, I'm don't know. I think because of what's going on with Freeman, obviously I've got to do something about my running back Phil. I liked what I saw from Kenyon Drake, and he's been being used, but also Amir Abdullah, I thought it looked really good with what I had seen on Sunday, and that's why I also used the waiver ad on Burkhead. Just to sort of have a few options. I think I'll probably most likely be rolling out with a whiteout in my flex most likely. I think for the most part my lineup is all set. Eagles may end up being popped in for Texans. That may or may not.
So you're gonna go Drake or Burkhead?
Good question. I think right now I'm going Drake. But in all honesty, Burkhead. Let's see, against Oakland, 27th against the run, so they're pretty fucking bad. The only thing that I mean, I picked him up because, of what you see, he definitely looks like a good sort of PPR ad, definitely gets some catches and is, kind of one of those small little backs like a Woodhead used to be, and I'm trying to think of a few others. But I just, the running back situation in New England.
He's actually kind of a big guy, isn't he? Kind of a bruiser, but he can catch too.
I thought he was more of a smaller guy, but maybe you're right.
Okay.
I mean, but even still, like, I'll just say, like, I don't like the Patriots backfield. I never like taking I feel when I had LeGarrette Blount last year, that was like a Patriot fluke. Like, they were just playing him because he was on a touchdown craze. But normally, dude, the Patriots will always mix up their running backs. You'll have, what's his name, Jonas Gray go off for 4 touchdowns and 200 yards and then get kicked off the team like the very next day. I feel like that's the Patriot way.
Trying to predict what Belichick is going to do is always the toughest thing.
Yeah, so I almost feel like Abdullah would almost be.
What's the running back that was like the hot hand like the first like 3 or 4 weeks of the season?
Gillislee.
Yeah, Gillislee, and now he's like a non-factor anymore. It's like
he was a healthy scratch.
It's like what
week.
The fuck
Brian, I like your little GIF with the Stranger Things Dragon
Slayer.
Oh, the Dragon Slayer. Yeah, thank you. I feel like I went on an 0-2 losing streak at the very beginning of the season, and my team name and the little theme, it was all Overwatch. And I think one, maybe 2 other people in our league play Overwatch, so nobody got the reference. And I can't be having a fucking
Nick
team
counts
name.
as 2 people.
And Chris.
Well, Chris played has played as well, but Nick definitely is. Nick, he plays now even more than I do. Like, Nick has become all about Overwatch.
He dreams Overwatch.
Oh, dude, that guy's jizzing fucking either thinking about Deshaun Watson or fucking or tracer kills from Overwatch. Jesus. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup. I will say, like, those wide receivers of yours, those question mark wide receivers like the Robert Woods. God damn it, I have no idea what's going to happen there. The Golden Tates could easily go on off. Keenan Allen's my boy. Well, was my former boy.
He's been so disappointing this year that I've wanted to been so mad at him in my other league.
Only one touchdown.
Only one touchdown. You're right.
One.
The very first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He hasn't even really been getting like a lot of ton of volume either, which he usually like in past years he used to get. So it's just been a little disappointing.
Yeah. Sean, I will be sorry to say, I think I might have to pick my team this week. I'm feeling good about it. I think there are not too many questions that I have. I feel some of the matchups are going to be competitive matchups. I don't feel I have any ridiculously hard matchups, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, KC is not as bad or not as good against the tight end as I thought. Bengals are 5th against the wideout, so that might be tough.
Well, Gurley's going up against the number 1 run defense in the league, so.
Well, so I mean, and
that's
he did
the one tough one, but he gets a lot of touches, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and it keeps on up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll probably give myself a slight little edge.
I gotta give it to you as well this week. I just, as much as I'd love to pick my team, I mean, I've got two starters that are on buys this week. I don't even know what's going on with Melvin Gordon right now. And I don't know what I'm doing with my flex yet. I don't like CJ Anderson.
He's been
terrible.
But I also, I mean, the only other...
You don't have anyone else?
I mean, I picked up that Samaje Perine guy just because I guess he catches a lot of balls, and Rob Kelly is out, but Chris Thompson is still there. So I'm considering maybe playing him there, but I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I gotta do some research. So I guess, yeah, I think your team is pretty poised to have another big week, and I think for me to win, it would take some semi-unexpected, really big performances where people are going to have to outdo, what their projections are.
Right.
Man, I don't want to complete Voodoo Strike this. That would be
pretty fucking nuts. I don't think we've ever done that before.
No, but just to say, just to have it as a one time only. wouldn't be bad.
I guess this.
I mean,
this could be the true testing point of this so-called voodoo curse, if it really does exist.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, I think I like Brian's matchups a little bit. The Gurley one's kind of tough, but he still just gets used so much that I don't think it really matters. And AJ's going up against Denver, but I don't think he's just so good. He seems to have pretty good games almost every week, unless he throws people down on the ground and gets ejected. So.
God damn it! That was
it would be sweet for a couple ejections on your team, Brian.
Dude, it's not out of the question. Let me tell you, it's happened twice to me this year, so it's very possible.
I wouldn't be surprised if you actually somehow, some of your players blow it up, Sean, like just somehow. But
I wouldn't be surprised
if I had to bet, I would probably bet on Brian.
Yeah,
so,
I would too, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are voodoo cursing it all up and down this bitch.
This is just a voodoo podcast right here.
We'll call this the Juju podcast.
The Juju Voodoo.
Juju Schuster podcast.
So by the way, that was
Jimmy.
That was Misha's second. Did he get high score again this week?
Yeah, that was.
So he's won it twice.
Twice now. Yep. That's right. Has anybody else won it twice besides John?
No. Nope.
I'm going to have to update the league page. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I don't have work tomorrow, so I can go ahead and get to that. Yep, dude, Misha won it twice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see who's going to win it this week. Got some good matchups, a lot of playoff implications here, so I'm excited to see how the next few weeks are shaking out.
Dude, I'm stoked to have had another guest on, dude. This is awesome, Joey. Thank you for taking the time.
It was super fun. And by the way, everyone, trade deadline this week, so send me your trades.
Yep. Is it? I think trade deadline goes through on Thursday the 23rd, I believe. It's on
Thanksgiving.
Next week. So, Thanksgiving.
Trade deadline is Thanksgiving. So everybody, hey, and if you guys need any, let's all get these discussions rolling.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention to you guys too that I'm going to be out of the country next week, so it's going to be pretty interesting for me to try to adjust my fantasy rosters with time change and everything while there's crucial weeks going on. So
you should ask Chris about it. He spent a month fucking overseas.
Yeah, he did tell me that was he's like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on right now in football. So hopefully I don't just shit the bed this last couple weeks because of that. But we'll see.
Dude, if I don't talk to you, or if we don't talk to you before then, man, have a safe travels for the holiday.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So you're secretly saying, I hope you lose all of your games and drop all of your players on accident.
I think that's what we all secretly say to each other. Hey man, good to see you. Oh, great talking. Yeah, dude. Let's do it again. That fucking guy, he needs to drop every single fucker he has just so I can take all of his juice.
I need to do a glitch where I accidentally, like how I vetoed that.
Yes. More
just drop
sneaky league manager stuff.
Yeah.
What was Misha? I can't remember what Misha said. Misha had one comment. It was like backdoor manager or some shit like that. It was hilarious.
Commissioner or whatever.
Backdoor commissioner.
Something like that. So we'll see how that goes. That's going to be tough, especially with those Thursday games. And I think I'm traveling on that Sunday when there's football going on, so that should be interesting too. So yeah.
Hopefully you have
not this Sunday, but
last minute decisions to make.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good shit.
Dude, thanks for coming on, and everybody for stopping on by. And I guess good luck to y'all. We'll see you next time.
All right. Peace.